Hi everyone, my name is Kim. I work in the Faculty of Science. Thank you for joining us today. This session is about ATAR and our courses. It's about some special consideration programs including CEAS. I'll introduce you to a subject adjustment bonus, and then we'll be looking at some pathways into science. Maybe for those that potentially don't achieve what they really wanted to achieve. So hopefully we can help you in that way. I also will apologise in advance. There's going to be a few little technical issues backwards and forwards because we will be jumping out of the presentation onto some websites, because I'd like to be able to share that information with you and show you how these tools work. So yeah, I do apologise in advance for that. So let's get going. And we'll have a look at the first slide. And so this is our courses in a snapshot. So we have single degrees. We have 5 single degrees, 3 of which are advanced programs. They are all really quite different. And then we have a look at the double degrees. So there's 10 of those. I personally love double degrees. I think they give students the opportunity to diversify their career options, and you can see the ATARs running alongside each of those as well. With the ATARs that have an RC and an asterisk next to it, what that denotes is a range of criteria. So not only is the course looking at ATAR, but it's also looking at other factors as well. So they might be something like an interview, or it could be answers to a supplementary information form, or it could be a VTAC personal statement. So when we have a look at the pathway options, there's an Indigenous entry for the Bachelor of Science. There's also a Bachelor of Science pathway into law. The Diploma of Higher Education, I've placed a little heart next to, because if you want to study science, then this is the best pathway available to you. It's managed by our education faculty, but basically it's a 1-year program. It is the first year of the Bachelor of Science. The subjects are all identical to those that are studying science or any other degree. The ATAR, as you can see, there is last year the lowest selection rank was a 68.25, and the range of criteria is a VTAC personal statement, just outlining the reasons why you would like to study science at Monash. So there are courses, lots of diversity, lots of range, and the ATARs that are sitting alongside those. So let's have a look at the VTAC subject adjustment bonus. Now, I'm not sure whether or not you know about this. Some universities offer it for some of their courses and some don't. Hopefully, if it is new to you, then you can go away and practice and have a play around with a tool that I'll introduce you to in a moment towards the end of the year. But how it works is like this. So the entry requirements for our Bachelor of Science, as far as the subject prerequisites are concerned, are 1 science subject. There are 8 usually in the Year 12 suite of subjects. So the more that you study, we want to reward you, because obviously you love your science, as we do, and we reward you by giving bonus points that may or may not be able to help you into the program. So whilst your ATAR remains the number that it is, it's actually the rank within the rest of the applicants that we can raise. So we have an example here. So Jordan completed Year 12 and he achieved an ATAR of 80, so he did exceptionally well. Well done, Jordan. He also studied biology, and in brackets there, that's the study score, chemistry, English, geography and maths methods. He achieved a study score of 25 plus in each subject, so including English, which makes him eligible because he's met our English language requirement. But what I now want to show you is how this works and how you can play around with this tool yourself. So there may be a few little tech issues here, but we'll see how we go. Oh, wrong one. Okay, here we are. Sorry for the delay. So this subject adjustment tool is housed on the Monash website, and I'll be providing you with one link that will show you where all of these are. So if we have a look at Jordan again, so in maths methods, he achieved a 35. In biology, he achieved a 32, and chemistry was a 38. And geography, a lot of people actually don't consider geography a science subject, but we do. So as you can see, he is now eligible for the total maximum number of aggregate points, and that is 8. His ATAR was 80, and I'll just scroll down. And that is how his ATAR is now affected. So while his ATAR is 80, the rank of his ATAR in amongst all the other applicants is 84.85, which is fantastic. Now, I wanted to show you the subject adjustment tool that sits on the VTAC website, which is here. So this one it's a little bit different. So we can select Jordan's ATAR again, which was 80. And we know, because we've just used the Monash VTAC subject adjustment tool, that he's eligible for 8 aggregate points. And that has then changed his ATAR to 84.75 to 85.65, depending on the range that is over here. So these tools are fantastic because they're great for you to play around with towards the end of the year, when you can, have a guess at what your ATAR might be, and also to your study scores, because you already know what your subjects are. So that's a great opportunity there. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the presentation. My apologies for the technical issues I'm having here. And so now we've been able to see how that VTAC subject adjustment bonus works on your ATAR. Alrighty, so with the special consideration programs, there's 2. I'm sure we're all well aware of the Special Entry Access Scheme this year, CEAS. It's been a very difficult year for all of you, I have absolutely no doubt. And we know that it provides special consideration for students who have experienced disadvantage, and particularly this year. We also understand that there's been some recent announcements from the government, and VTAC will be looking at individual students on a one-by-one basis. So the applications are made and the assessment is actually made through VTAC, not Monash. And so we can have a look at an estimate calculator in a minute, but I also wanted to explain to you about Monash Guarantee. So you might not be aware of this. This is a different special consideration program. Where CEAS adds points onto your aggregate, the Monash Guarantee actually works in the opposite way, and it lowers the ATAR for students who have experienced disadvantage for particular courses, or most courses actually. So the disadvantage includes financial, it includes living in a low socioeconomic area, being Indigenous, or that you might attend a Monash underrepresented school. It can be determined automatically through your VTAC application by ticking the CEAS box, which we all recommend that you do. And with the Monash Guarantee for the Bachelor of Science, it is 75, so an ATAR of 75. We are unable to make any offers under that, so it's the 75 plus all the CEAS and the subject adjustment bonusing. And that is actually an admissions policy at the university. So whatever the lowest selection rank ATAR is, we really cannot offer 10 points under that. So let's have a look at the CEAS estimate calculator. So again, I'm taking you outside of the presentation again. Okay, all right, so let's have a look at this. We might be looking this time at Sam, who I think is Jordan's cousin. So Sam, his estimated ATAR is 75. Sam, and I'd like you to keep an eye on this side of the page here as we work through this calculator. So Sam is under 21. He's not Indigenous. He's not from an non-English speaking background. He was born here. His address, he actually lives at 14 Orange, oh, here we go, Orange Grove, Bayswater. Oh, what happened? Okay, so because of Sam's address, his 75 ATAR has now been lifted to the rank of 84.6. He attends school in Victoria, obviously, and he attends Bayswater Secondary College. Okay, so that hasn't had any impact there. Unfortunately for Sam, one of his parents lost their job this year, so they have undergone some financial disadvantage, and that has lifted the rank to 85. He didn't have any disability or medical conditions. They had difficult circumstances, and the family was highly impacted by COVID. So as you can see here, Sam was eligible for the maximum number of CEASE points, which is 10 ATAR points or 20 aggregate points here. So because of his address, and also because of the situation that he encountered this year, he, with a 75 ATAR, is able to apply for the Bachelor of Science with an 85 ATAR. So that's how that works, and you can also have a play around with that yourself. So we're going back now to the presentation, and let's have a look at some pathways. So I always think it's really important that you have option A, B, C and D, just in case things, didn't pan out exactly how you wanted them to. It's always a great idea to have some other options. So let's have a look at those. Alrighty, so pathways into the Bachelor of Science. We can look at the Diploma of Higher Education, which I spoke about before with my little heart next to it, because I think it's fantastic. For students that are mature age, which is 21 plus, which makes me a bit sad as I wipe the tear from my eye, we have single university units, but these are not for non-school, these are not for school leavers. There's the opportunity to undertake an internal or external course transfer, and then there's also TAFE qualifications as well. So we'll go into these in a little bit more detail. So with the Diploma of Higher Education, the requirement is an ATAR of at least 65, and as I mentioned before, you'll need to submit a VTAC personal statement outlining the reasons why you want to study science at Monash. And upon successful completion of that one-year program, you can then enter into either the second year of the Bachelor of Science or the second year of the Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Education with Honours program. Looking at an internal or external transfer, you may study a different degree at Monash that might not be science based, but you have met the subject prerequisites through your Year 12. And the degree that you're looking at Monash, the ATAR might be lower. So you could potentially use that course as a pathway into the Bachelor of Science. So you might look at studying that other degree for, say, a semester, and then apply for mid-year entry into the Bachelor of Science. Or another option is to study a science degree at another university and look at that as a pathway into Monash Science. So with regard to the TAFE qualifications, there's two that we look at. The Certificate 4 is usually around about a Year 12 level, so you can complete a Certificate 4 in science, and we require an 80% minimum average, or a science-based diploma. And here we're looking at an average of 60%. Now, the difference between a Certificate 4 and a diploma, as I said, the Certificate 4 is comparable to a Year 12. The diploma is comparable to a first year bachelor degree, and as a result that's why the averages are a little bit different. One thing to bear in mind though is that the TAFE qualifications need to be graded. So there are programs out there that are competency based, which means on your transcript you'll receive either a pass or a fail or a competent or a non-competent. We actually need to see the level that you were achieving at. So we actually need to see percentages or passes or credits or distinctions. Just gives us an idea of where you're actually sitting within that. And then, as I mentioned before, there's a single unit pathway for applicants that are 21 plus. Depending upon whether or not they meet the English language requirement, has an impact on whether the 2 units would be both science or whether one would be what we call English rich and science as well. So we've come to the end. I hope that you've learnt some information here, particularly around the VTAC subject adjustment bonus and the tools that I've shown you. So on the screen, we have my email address, which is Sci Future Students. So if you have any questions down the track, please feel free to email us there. Even when you receive your results, more than happy to extend the offer to help you plan around some pathways if required. I have a link up on the screen for your essential guide, which I'm going to take you to now, just to introduce you to this page. This has all the tools that we've used so far, and we've taken every bit of science information from all the websites and we've popped it into the one place so that it's like a one-stop shop. So let's have a look. And again, please bear with me for the tech as I bring this up. Okay, so this is your essential guide. We have our telephone numbers here on the screen, so if you want to give us a call, please feel free to do so. And there's our email address again. So all our courses are here. We have our course brochure. If you haven't been to the campus before and you'd like to take a look around, we have a science tour video here, which is being taken by a couple of our students. There's some more information on pathways. And here we have the majors or the science disciplines that you can study. What is a subject adjustment bonus and am I eligible? So let's have a click on that. And there's the tool that we initially used before. So I'll just go back, scroll down. And next to that is the special entry schemes, the CEAS and the Monash guarantee. So we'll click on that and have a look. That has all the information there, as well as the calculators. We have lots of information on careers and internships. There's a great video here by my colleague Michaela, who will walk you through some course information. And more tools here, online resources, information about internships. But what I also wanted to show you was in this section here, these are frequently asked questions. I want to study science, but I don't meet the ATAR and or prerequisites. I didn't meet the ATAR, what can I do? So in the second paragraph, where it says, please click here, this is a document that actually explains the VTAC subject adjustment bonus and how it works. So how many subjects you need to study and their study score and how that equates to the adjustment points to your aggregate. So what I might do is I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be online now for a chat, so if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to chat there. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. So thank you very much, everyone.